Dear brothers, in my ministry as a parish priest in a number of parishes, I have come across many lay people who have inspired me and challenged me to be a good Christian and to be a good priest. One such person is named Uttariyanathan. He had a motto in his life. In Tamil it says, Oliyairu அல்லது ஒளியோடு இரு. Translated, be light or at least be with light. This motto attracted me a lot. If one follows this principle in personal life as well as in social life, life becomes meaningful to oneself and life becomes meaningful to others. You begin to contribute something to others, to the society. The wise men whom we see in the gospel today wanted to be with light. And therefore they set off on a journey, searching for the light. A long journey, an arduous journey. How long will the journey last? They did not know. For how far they had to travel, how many kilometers, they did not know. How many days, months, years, they did not know. Without knowing all that, they had only the assurance of a star. Yes, light is there, and we must go and see the light. They had the guiding star, and they followed the light, the star. Perfect example of this motto, be light or be with light, are the wise men whom we meet in the gospel today. The opposite of the motto would be darkness or be with darkness. That is the negative aspect. A good example, I think, of the negative of the motto would be, I think, Herod, whom we hear about in the gospel today. What he did, how he led, and so on. Now let us make a brief comparison between the wise men on the one side and Herod on the other side. The wise men heard about the birth of the Messiah in some far country. They don't know where. But Herod, the birth of the Messiah took place very close to him, in his own country. He was very privileged. From far away, the wise men came searching for the light. But though the light was very close to him, Herod did not bother. He ignored it. He was negligent of the light that was very close to him. The wise men had no means of knowing where, how long, and so on. But Herod had all the means of knowing, finding out exactly where the Messiah would be born. In fact, that's what he did. He called the chief priests and the scribes and asked them, tell me where the Messiah would be born. And they told him exactly where the Messiah would be born. The place was discovered. The birth of Messiah was good news to the wise men. But the birth of Messiah was bad news for Herod. When he heard of this, he was troubled. He was worried. We read in the gospel. Knowing where the Messiah is born, that is in Bethlehem, which is not very far away from Jerusalem, the wise men became very happy. They were filled with joy and new energy and enthusiasm because we almost reached the place. But knowing the place that in Bethlehem, which is very close, the Messiah is born, Herod becomes very sad and angry, and he wants to kill the child that was born Messiah. The only desire of the wise men, was to go and see the Lord, see the Messiah, worship him, and make offerings. That's all, the only desire. But what was the desire of the Herod? The only desire of Herod was to find out exactly where it is and to kill the child. And for that, he pretends as if he is interested. He pretends as if he is also going to worship. This is how Herods behave. Brothers, we have compared the behavior and the attitude of the wise men and Herod, as we see in the gospel. That's only a study. That's only academic. What is more important? The more important question is, where do I stand? Am I more like the wise men, or am I more like Herod? That is the important question for us. The wise men had a guiding star, and so we also have a guiding star, the light of faith that has been given to us. Do I follow my star? Do I follow my star and go in search of God, the light? Do I recognize the presence of God in human beings? Do I follow the star given to me and recognize the presence of God in human beings, particularly the poor? And do I recognize the presence of God in nature and in the environment? Do I love nature and do I love environment and preserve it? We are constantly enriched by the Word of God, by the sacraments, the Holy Eucharist, the teachings and guidance of the Church, the teachings and guidance of our congregation, the constitutions, the statutes. Do I use all these and seek God, the true light? Or do I ignore all this and walk in darkness? The wise men when they saw light, particularly when it reappeared in Jerusalem, they were so happy. But when the light reappeared, Herod was very sad. He was afraid. Why? Because Herod preferred darkness. Who are the people who do not want light? People who do evil, they do not want light. People who do evil, they want darkness, because all their evil activities can be done in the cover of darkness. Darkness is the friend of thieves and murderers. Brothers, the children of darkness hate the children of light, as Herod did. Even today, the children of darkness hate the children of light. The Herods of the world do not hesitate to do any harm to anybody for their own purpose. And what is their own purpose? Just to preserve themselves in power and in wealth. The Herods of today, just as Herod of the old, pretends to be seeking the light, pretends to be seeking for the welfare of the people. The Herods of the world constantly sow seeds of hatred and division among people. The wise men constantly sow seeds of love and unity among all people. When we take an honest look into our own lives, am I more like the wise men or like Herod? We readily recognize the wise men in us, but we must humbly recognize that there is at least some bits of Herod left, found in all of us. The feast of today calls us and challenges us humbly and truthfully to recognize the hidden Herod within me, within each one of us, and to keep reducing the qualities of Herod in me, and to keep increasing the qualities of the wise men, using all the opportunities that are given to us. Thus, we continue our life's journey, following our star, the light of faith in Jesus. That is our star. And thus, we may not only merely be with light, but we will be light itself in union with the light of the world, Jesus Christ.